everybody, welcome to episode 46 of Unboxing Wednesdays for comics arriving in stores on Wednesday, September 14th, 2011. We've got a lot to get through today. It's the second full week of DC's relaunch titles, plus we got a whole whack of books from Marvel this week. So Rob, go ahead and open up some boxes. First up today are Brightest Day Series 3 action figures. We've got Jade, here's Aqualad, here's Hawk wearing his best Rob Liefeld grimace, and Dove. Today's t-shirt is especially relevant given the events in Schism lately, but here is a Rise of the Sentinels t-shirt. We've got a couple of travel mugs in today. First up is the Superman one, and then we've got a collection of classic Marvel characters here. Alright, it's the second week of DC's relaunch. Marvel's finally come to the table with a bunch of solid offerings this week, so let's take a look at the Fear Itself books first. Well, I said solid offerings, and then I bring up a book like Fear Itself, The Monkey King. If you're into kings or you're into monkeys, check this book out. Black Panther, The Man Without Fear. This is a Fear Itself tie-in, and it's also issue 523. Fear Itself, Hulk vs. Dracula, issue 1 of 3. New Avengers number 16. Here's the New Avengers variant cover by John Romita Jr. Journey into Mystery, issue 627. Here's Alpha Flight, issue 4 of 8. Now, they just announced at Fan Expo that this will be an ongoing series. And here we have the variant cover. Ghost Rider, issue 3. Fear Itself, book 6. This is the big event comic from Marvel this week. Here's the first variant cover for Fear Itself. Here's the Humberto Ramos sketch cover variant. This is a 1 in 52 variant, and we're sure that Ricky from Flavorful Reviews will love the artwork on this cover. Ricky doesn't like Humberto Ramos for some reason. Marvel released a bunch of second printing variants today, all of them in black and white. Here's Captain America issue 1 second print, Fear Itself book 2, Daredevil number 1 second print, Mighty Thor number 4, and Punisher number 1. The first of 5 issues of John Carter, A Princess of Mars by Marvel hit stands today. Dark Wolverine issue 14, Deadpool issue 43, Daredevil issue 3, Uncanny X-Force issue 15. We've been selling a lot of these books lately. Here's the regular cover, and here is the variant cover by Mike Deodato Jr. X-Men Legacy issue 255. Herc number 7 gets the Spider Island tie-in treatment this week. And we have Spider Island Spider-Girl issue 2 of 3. Here's Amazing Spider-Man issue 669. Here's the Amazing Spider-Man 1 in 26 variant. The 1 in 52 variant is much the same, except it's in black and white. And here is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 669 Dan Slott variant. This features Amazing Spider-Man writer Dan Slott doing his best Amazing Fantasy 15 impersonation. This cover is drawn by Todd Nauck, and it was offered to retailers as a custom cover if we ordered 2,000 or more issues of this comic. We could get our own custom drawing of ourselves or one of our customers on the cover. But at the end of the day, 2,000 comics was just a little too rich for our blood, so we get the Dan Slott version instead. Alright, here's the book Marvel's all hoping you buy this week. It's Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue 1, featuring Miles Morales in the role of Ultimate Spider-Man. I'll be picking up this book just to see where Miles Morales has come from, how he got his powers, and to see how he fits in with the new Ultimate Universe. This is polybagged, and we're going to go ahead and open it up right now. Maybe it'll be a signed version by Kevin and Rob from Stadium Comics. Those of you who watched our live show know what I'm talking about. No signature, as you can see, but I'm sure there is a signed version by someone floating around out there. Here's the first variant for Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, and here's the second, and we see Miles Morales unmasked on this cover. New in hardcover from Marvel today is Marvel Zombies Supreme. Now available in softcover is Uncanny X-Men Breaking Point. Archie, The Married Life, now collected in softcover. We have 2 worlds, 2 loves, 2 destinies. Justice League of America Team History. This is really cool. Now available in 1 collected edition is Green Lantern, The Sinestro Corps War. Previously, this was a 2-book collection, and we've got it all in 1 here. In hardcover today, we have Superman The Black Ring Volume 2. It's about that time of year where we start to see calendars rolling in, and here's the first. It's the Walking Dead 2012 calendar. A zombie for each month of the year. Robert Kirkman and Rob Liefeld's The Infinite has 3 covers this week. Here's the first, the second, and the third. Each one angrier than the next. Criminal, Last of the Innocent, issue 4. Here's a G.I. Joe Cobra Civil War 100-page spectacular. Buffy Season 9 starts up today. Here's the first issue, Free Fall Part 1. And this is the first cover. Here is the second cover. And here is the variant cover. This celebrates Dark Horse's 25th anniversary. Alright, we're going to get into the DC books right now. Just before we do that, I want to relay some of my experiences with you as far as selling DC books from last week went. All the relaunch books sold really well here at Stadium. We saw a lot of new faces in the store that we haven't ever seen before, and some faces that we haven't seen in a few years. The hit of the week seemed to be Detective Comics. Lots of people were coming in for that. Also, Animal Man appeared to be one of the favorites from the week, and we were sold out of that early in the week as well. Rob's favorite was Batwing, for those who are keeping score, and actually Batwing was a really good read. And I have to say, for a lot of the DC books that came out last week, the one thing that they really seemed to nail was the endings on a lot of the books. Many of the stories left us wanting more, and that was especially the case with Detective Comics. We did hear some reports of some shady business going on in our local area as well. Lots of stories of people coming into our store looking for Detective Comics or Batgirl or Justice League #1 even, saying that they've been seeing them at other stores for 20 bucks, 8 bucks, 12 bucks. Our stance here at Stadium is that no non-variant book, that is to say the regular edition of a comic, should be selling at more than the regular price during its week of release. If you walk into a shop this week and one of the DC titles that we're about to show you is selling for 8 bucks, 10 bucks, or more, my advice to you, walk out the door and find another comic shop. That kind of stuff might have flown back in the 90s, but it doesn't fly today. We've been getting a lot of customers because of it, and to those stores out there who are jacking up the prices, thank you, we appreciate it. But just be careful when you go into shops this week to pick up any of these new books. If a retailer's trying to take advantage of you, you might want to find another shop. Alright, enough with the politics of retailing. Let's get started on the books. Here is Suicide Squad, issue 1, featuring a new look Harley Quinn. Mr. Terrific, issue 1, great book this week. I can tell you that there is a cameo appearance by a old universe person who hasn't really been talked about in this new universe. They're in this book. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Legion Lost, issue 1. The premise behind this book is a bunch of the Legion of Superheroes are stuck in our present day. Here's Grifter, issue 1. Another Wildstorm character making their DC debut. I think a while ago some of the DC executives were saying that if you liked the character of Sawyer from Lost, the con man, that this would be the book for you. Resurrection Man #1. This is a book that I've really been looking forward to just based on Rob's recommendations. Rob was a big fan of the original run of the comic, and basically it's the story of a guy who, every time he dies, wakes up with a new power and a new urge to solve some mystery or crime. Rob had a chance to read this today and said it was amazing, and I asked him if we needed to know anything about the original Resurrection Man series in order to pick this up and understand what's going on, being that I've never read Resurrection Man. You don't need to know anything about his history or have read any of the past issues. Here's Demon Knights #1. This has been advertised that if you like stuff such as Game of Thrones or anything medieval, that this is a book for you to pick up in the new DCU. Here's Batwoman issue 1, art by J.H. Williams III. His work on Batwoman in Detective Comics and also on Batwoman issue 0 was amazing. And he really is known for his art style and his unique panel layouts. And here's an example of that with this 2-page spread. This is a definite pickup for those of you out there into the Bat family and also into awesome art and design. Here's Superboy issue 1. This is one I was really skeptical about because I'm a big fan of Connor Kent in the old DC universe. I haven't had a chance to read any books today. Rob read this one and says it was amazing, and it really surprised him as he was one of the biggest skeptics of changing this character as well. Frankenstein, Agent of Shade by Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire's Animal Man last week was one of the surprise hits of the week. Anybody who's been reading Jeff Lemire's work for the last little while weren't surprised by the fact that it was a hit. And I'm thinking we can expect more of the same from Frankenstein, Agent of Shade this week. Deathstroke issue 1. Batman and Robin issue 1. I'm sure a lot of the people who picked up Detective Comics last week will also be in to pick up Batman and Robin. Everybody loves the Red Lanterns, so they've gotten their own series now, Red Lanterns issue 1. And another one of the big books this week is Green Lantern issue 1. Featuring, of course, Sinestro in his new role as the protector of Sector 2814. Hal Jordan, of course, was stripped of his powers after the events of War of the Green Lanterns Aftermath, and Sinestro has taken a spot for now. But for how long? And here is DC's only variant cover for this week, similar to the Jim Lee Action Comics variant last week. This is a Sinestro by new recruit to DC Comics, Greg Capullo, who will be doing the art for the upcoming Batman series. Okay, for last week's contest, which was for the beautiful Jim Lee Action Comics variant, we wanted you to tell us what the title was you were looking forward to most last week, besides Action Comics. There were a lot of great answers, over 100 comments. Thank you to everyone who responded. We could only give one prize though, and we're awarding that to YouTube user Tathel, who pointed out that initially Swamp Thing was the book he was looking most forward to because of the pairing of all-star writer Scott Snyder and Yannick Paquette. Well, he really did enjoy the book. The book that he ended up liking the most was Jeff Lemire's Animal Man, and like many, that book just blew everyone away last week, especially the latter half of it. So congratulations to Tathel. Thanks for your awesome comment. Thank you to everybody else. Thanks to the guy who said he was looking forward to Frankenstein this week because Frankenstein looks like me. Always love to hear that. And for those of you who didn't win, hopefully you keep trying and you win something, maybe even this week. For this week's contest, we're going to give away this copy of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, which I unbagged earlier in the episode. And I didn't do too much damage to it, don't worry. Now, I haven't read this book yet, and I'm curious to see how Miles Morales got his powers. So this week, we want you to come up with your explanation of how Miles Morales got his powers. The best and most creative entry will win this comic, and remember that you must be a subscriber in order to participate. Alright everybody, that is it for this week. Don't forget that you can connect with us on any of the websites you see listed here on the screen. Don't forget to check out our webcomic, Time Nerds, by visiting timenerds.com. New pages released every Monday. Ricky Buns and Nick let you know what they think of this week's comic releases on Flavorful Reviews, seen each week on our channel. So that about wraps it up, everyone. Enjoy your comics this week, and we'll see you all next week for episode 47.